So the first thing that the system is looking at is it's trying to find the student. And we looked at this last time. Let's make this a little bigger. Too big. We looked at this last time to see what search match that you guys are using. And we saw that I think one of the schools uses this and one of them don't, in terms of what two of the three schools are the same and one of them is different in terms of your search match parameters. What we're doing here is we're trying to match up the ISIR with the student. Now, what the system does is, and this is not identified here, but it is in the documentation. It only does this search match for the first ISIR that is loaded. Okay, and the second ISIR that is loaded for the year, it knows the student based on the Pell ID. Okay, so this Pell ID and SAR ID is actually very similar. So the SAR ID or Pell ID is the student's social security number, the first two digits of the last name, and the transaction number. So this is actually one long digit in the file. So social security number, this is formatted nicely, so you've got the little dashes, but it's, so the student's social security number and the first two digits of their last name consists of the Pell ID. And the last transaction number is the SAR ID. So this is the fifth ISIR that the student did, and if we make a correction again, it'll be the sixth and the seventh and so on. So the first one that you get, what the system is trying to do is match on this, which is the Pell ID. So if it finds a student with the Pell ID, it ignores these search match parameters. So every year it does that. So it only matches on the search match parameters for the first ISIR that you get per year. And the reason why it does that is speed. So if it doesn't have to go through all of these search match parameters because it can match on this, that's what we want. Okay. The problem with this is what we talked about last time, is if you load the wrong ISIR to the wrong student, it's not just going to load that wrong ISIR, it's going to load that wrong ISIR forever for the next ISIR and the next ISIR and the next ISIR. So it is crucial that if we do load the wrong ISIR, that we get it out of there for that student. Even if the student's not here anymore, I'm like, oh, maybe we don't care, but we do care because subsequent ISIRs can also load to the wrong student, which is what we don't want to happen. Okay, so that's the very first thing. The first thing is we find the student, and after we find the student, these load information, when we load that, tells us how we found the student. This is what we're looking at. It's the very first thing that we do. We max the match, and this max match level is because it's the first ISIR for the student. Sometimes when this is not populated, it means that we have a previous ISIR for the student, and it went through it didn't have to go to the data load parameters because it matched on the SAR ID or the Pell ID. Okay. All right, so it finds the student first, and then what it's trying to do is figure out what it should load. Now, so there are various different types of information on the ISIR, and I wish I could show you in a nice orderly format, but this is kind of all over the place. Okay, so we've got the ISIR we matched, and now it's trying to decide what parts of the ISIR it should load. Okay, so this is the demographic information. All the ISIRs have demographic information regarding address, email, phone, driver's license. But this bio demo data is the citizenship, social security number, and date of birth. Or not social security, I'm sorry, it's date of birth, citizenship, and I think there's one more thing. You could look for it in the documentation, but it's three things. I wish they would separate it out, because some people do want to load in the citizenship information, but not the date of birth. But you don't have this option. So if you turn this on, it will load all